If he's in a good place, I think this could be the first time that Shakur Stevenson has somebody who can match him with athletic ability. Pure ability, pure speed, quickness, quick twitch, athletic ability that can match him. But he could possibly match, and maybe even he would have to outmatch him to win. He'd have to be that good. But maybe match Shakur boxing and pull off what would be an upset.
Shakur will get into a rhythm, he'll have that flow, and he'll just edge him out, but it could be very controversial.
And what Shakur can't afford to do, which he did against William Zepeda, is sit on the ropes and show his defensive skills. He needs the footwork, centre of the ring, and not let Teo have that forward momentum. You let him get forward momentum.
We get back in, we going at it again, and now I get you to actually start coming at you. And I caught you with a jab or something like that. I caught you, and I'll never forget this. I caught you, and you basically like kind of came over top of me.
Teddy Atlas just dropped his prediction for Shakur Stevenson versus Teofimo Lopez, and trust me, you're not going to see this coming. When Atlas broke down this matchup, he pointed out something concerning about Teofimo Lopez. His performances have been sliding downhill ever since that Arnold Barbosa fight, and that's got people questioning his consistency. Meanwhile, Shakur Stevenson absolutely dominated William Zepeda and shut up all those critics who kept calling him boring to watch. What Atlas finds really intriguing is that both these guys still have another level they haven't shown us yet, which makes their recent contrasting momentum such a compelling angle.
Well, if they were down on Teo, they were up as high as you could be on Shakur in his last fight.
Versus Peter, no question.
He finally did what people wanted, this young, talented, brilliant talent, brilliant defensive fighter, brilliant guy at control and range, Olympic silver medalist, quick hands, technically solid. He finally satisfied the critics, and he mixed offense with the defense. He sat down, and instead of moving all the time and punching on the move or on the draw back off traps, you know, you come in 5 inches, he goes back 7.
So here's Atlas dropping his verdict and explaining exactly why Shakur Stevenson is getting all the betting love while still giving Teofimo Lopez his due respect. The key factor Atlas keeps coming back to is Teofimo's headspace, because his mental game and his entire career trajectory have been shaped by his father's influence. According to Teddy, if Teofimo walks into that ring completely locked in mentally and physically prepared, he could become Stevenson's worst nightmare and deliver what might be the hardest fight of Shakur's entire career.
He's a big favorite. It starts for me with Teofimo, where it starts is, where is he mentally? He's up and down. You know, his father, the whole thing, his father's been with him the whole career. Listen, love him, hate him. His father has been part of getting him to these world titles. He's been part of it. Whatever. He has been up and down mentally. Where's he going to be? If he's right, if he's stable, if he's in a good place, he seemed to be in a very good place when he fought Lomachenko. If he's in a good place, I think this could be the first time that Shakur Stevenson has somebody who can match him with athletic ability. Pure ability, pure speed, quickness, quick twitch, athletic ability that can match him.
Now, most boxing insiders see Shakur Stevenson as the better technical boxer with superior defense and fight intelligence, but Teddy Atlas is focusing on those wild card elements in Teofimo Lopez's arsenal that could force Shakur into uncharted territory. His prediction hinges on Teofimo bringing the right mental approach because he's got every tool needed to make Stevenson extremely uncomfortable and pull him into those deep, dangerous rounds. What makes this fascinating, according to Teddy, is this represents Shakur's first real examination against someone who can actually hang with his skill level, and Atlas is adamant that Teofimo has to elevate beyond his normal performance and find something extra special to get the victory.
and could actually turn the tables in a way where he could force Shakur out of his comfort zone to maybe do some things, say, he doesn't want to do, that he's not as comfortable doing, initiating in certain spots, that I think Teofimo has the speed, the legs, the quickness, and he's got pop too with it, where he could possibly, I know this sounds ridiculous, but he could possibly match, and maybe even he would have to outmatch him to win. He'd have to be that good, but maybe match Shakur boxing.
When Teddy Atlas delivers his final call, he's making it crystal clear just how lethal Teofimo Lopez can be in that ring, highlighting his explosive reflexes and devastating power as weapons that could break Shakur Stevenson down as those rounds pile up. Atlas genuinely thinks Teofimo can shock the world here, and he's saying all this heavy favoritism toward Shakur is actually showing disrespect to Lopez. The way he sees it, Shakur better come ready to handle serious pressure, because Teofimo only needs one perfect night to steal everything.
And pull off what would be an upset. I think it's going to be a very, very, very interesting fight with a lot of X factors, a lot of intangibles, a lot of stuff floating around mentally, everything. I think it could be an intriguing fight. I don't know if it'll be a good fight. I don't know if it'll be a scintillating fight. I don't know about that. But I do think it could be interesting.
Now, here's where things get really wild. The pressure is mounting, and Robert Garcia just revealed that Shakur Stevenson personally confronted him yesterday after Garcia picked Teofimo Lopez to win this fight. Garcia is telling everyone that when he shared his prediction, Shakur was clearly bothered by hearing it. Even though most people expect Stevenson to cruise to victory, Garcia believes Teofimo is going to make this fight way harder than anyone realizes. And he's sticking with his upset pick while noting how Shakur's whole attitude changed after their conversation.
Look, it's a great fight, and last night I seen Shakur, and he actually told, "Oh, I heard you're picking Teofimo." Look, I picked Teofimo because I like him. Him and his dad, they've always been very cool to me. They're friends. That's why I would love to see him pull it up.
But that to you. He saw you. He said you pick a Teofimo.
Yeah, he's like because he came into our locker room. And he's like, "Oh, I know. I see you picking Teofimo to beat me." I'm picking Teofimo because he's so. I could say they're friends. Good people. His dad's always been very respectful to me. We get along very well, and he's Latino, so I want to see him pull it off. But it's not an easy fight. I think Shakur has the skills, has the style to.
Robert Garcia wants everyone to understand his support for Teofimo Lopez has nothing to do with any personal relationships with him or his father. This is purely based on solid boxing analysis. Breaking down his reasoning, Garcia emphasizes one crucial point: Teofimo Lopez can be absolutely lethal when he wants to be, and he's referencing those explosive past performances where Lopez created genuine danger for elite opponents. That's exactly why Garcia is convinced that if Teofimo arrives fully dialed in, he possesses the weapons to drag Shakur Stevenson into dangerous waters and potentially steal the win.
But if we see a Teofimo that beat Lomachenko or the Josh Taylor.
Oh, Josh Taylor, yeah.
Then that's a dangerous Teofimo. So I can't wait for that fight. To me, it's a 50-50 fight, but I'm.
As fight night approaches, respected boxing journalist Sean Zittel has thrown his analysis into the mix. During his recent show, Zittel is sounding the warning bells for Teofimo Lopez by questioning exactly how he plans to solve the Shakur Stevenson puzzle. While acknowledging that Lopez's supporters point to his strength at 140 pounds, Zittel notes that in previous battles against fighters with similar styles to Stevenson, Teofimo has displayed strategic mistakes and revealed exploitable flaws.
So I think a lot of people feel like Teo being the natural 140 or the bigger, supposed to be the bigger man and the bigger puncher and everything, that he should stalk Shakur. But I feel like I've seen that movie before when he comes in with his lead hand down and he becomes a little predictable. He loses his jab and he basically becomes right hand happy. And he throws it in different ways. He sweeps it to the body, sweeps it to the head, tries to do. Should he use all that athleticism and his angles, and should he be Gordo, like they called him in the amateur? Should he try to outdo what he did against Barboza, which is way different than trying to do it against Shakur Stevenson?
Right.
But if you know, when you've tried to stalk these back foot fighters like Jermaine, like Sandor, and it hasn't made you look at your best.
Sean Zittel is warning Teofimo Lopez not to dust off that same approach he used against Lomachenko, because Shakur Stevenson represents a completely different and potentially more dangerous challenge. He's insisting that Teofimo must outclass Stevenson technically and execute his plan with absolute precision to have any chance. Sean Porter is backing up this perspective by stressing that Teofimo needs to fight smarter than he ever has before, while applying relentless pressure and forcing Stevenson into those uncomfortable situations where anything can happen.
Can you find a way to make Shakur take that step forward and try to actually outbox and be the more athletic fighter than Shakur and say, no, you take a step forward, at least more than you want to. Obviously, he can't do that all 12 rounds. He's going to have to press Shakur at different times, but don't do what you did even against Lomachenko. Don't be on the front foot. Try to outbox him, essentially. Make him come forward.
You got to be smart. You know, going into the fight with Adrian Bronner, my dad, as soon as we had that fight signed and everything, my dad, first training camp, training session, I'll never forget.
Sean Porter and Sean Zittel have constructed a comprehensive strategy for Teofimo Lopez based on Porter's actual fighting experience inside those ropes. Their guidance stems from accepting that Shakur Stevenson is the rightful favorite in any technical boxing match, and suggesting anything different would be foolish. Teofimo must combine aggression with intelligence, while being crafty enough to draw Stevenson into his preferred fighting style, where he can take over.
Because Shakur is such a sure thing. He's been a sure thing since the day he became a professional. He's the legit favorite.
Yeah.
It's hard to pick against him. Yeah. But if Teofimo's going to do it, does he got to do a lot of what you just talked about with Jesse in that fight?
Number one, you have to understand that it is possible. I think with Jesse,
it sounded like you were stubborn about it. He's going to have to be stubborn, and that takes a level of, sounds like, patience and stubbornness at the same time. Because punch for punch, Shakur's the more accurate guy with timing and placement.
Right.
So you're going to get touched up if you're Teo. Does that make you get desperate and abandon and go, nah, I got to go get him and get on the front foot and get it right back?
And so, yeah, to that point, there's an amount of patience that has to be there. There has to be an amount of understanding that this might not be going the way it usually goes for me, but as long as I feel comfortable, I'm going to keep doing.
Looking at all the expert analysis and predictions, one truth emerges clearly. If there's anyone capable of derailing Shakur Stevenson and turning his technical mastery into a nightmare, it's Teofimo Lopez. Everyone recognizes his statement, victories over Lomachenko and Josh Taylor, as proof that Teofimo stands as the only fighter with the tools to defeat Stevenson. Gareth Davies reinforces this viewpoint by acknowledging that while Shakur might edge it on the scorecards, it won't come easy given the constant danger and chaos that Teofimo brings every second he's in there.
Universally accepted as the number one in that division. Brilliant victories in his career over Josh Taylor, and prior to that, Vasyl Lomachenko. I think a true victory over Vasyl Lomachenko. If anyone can upset the ascent of Shakur Stevenson up the pound-for-pound list, up the weight divisions, it's the spoiler that is Teo Lopez. I've watched a lot of them together in the build-up, and I like the way Teo is, and I like the way Shakur is. See, Shakur's got the gap between his teeth. It's gone now.
Yep.
He's had his teeth done. He's ready to be a megastar. I'm really, really, really fascinated by this contest. I think Shakur Stevenson can win this on points, Spencer, but he's going to have to be at his very, very best as we look at these images of the two men. This is the fight that ignites the American market.
However, Spencer Oliver is leaning heavily toward Shakur Stevenson in this matchup. Pointing to Shakur's outstanding record, Oliver views this as one of Stevenson's best chances to capture victory and join Terence Crawford as a 4-division champion. He recognizes that Teofimo Lopez has experienced some career setbacks, but Stevenson has maintained that untouchable mystique throughout his rise. Oliver is confident that if Crawford could reach those heights, Stevenson has every ability to handle Lopez convincingly.
Teofimo Lopez blows hot and cold, but when he's good, he's really good. Vasyl Lomachenko was an outstanding performance. Then he got derailed by George Kambosos in the fight after that and just seemed to lose his way a little bit, but in recent times looks back to his best. It's a fascinating fight. This, for me, is all about whether Shakur Stevenson can step up and bring the greatness. He's daring to be great, and I think that Terence Crawford done it against Canelo Alvarez, and I believe that Shakur Stevenson does it against Teofimo Lopez in a fascinating fight. You know, if you're a boxing fan, for the boxing purist, the sweet science between these two, you watch the technical stuff that goes in there. Might not go down as one of the greatest fights there ever was. This could be a real standoff, a real technical fight, but both guys, their IQ is insane, and this is the best fight in boxing today.
But Gareth Davies thinks Teofimo Lopez has the right ingredients to win this battle. He's predicting Teofimo could derail Shakur Stevenson's momentum, creating the most difficult test of Stevenson's professional life. From Gareth's perspective, Shakur must stay alert and acknowledge the serious threat he's facing, and while he still expects Stevenson to win on points, Teofimo's power and intensity make him dangerous enough to transform this into a career-defining war for Stevenson. This setup creates anticipation for even bigger fights, as everyone waits to see who stands victorious when the final bell rings.
He is a very special character, the American Honduran. I like the way he is. I can see him halting the progress of Shakur, even though I'm going Shakur on points. It would not surprise me if it's a weight division too far. And if Shakur does win this, or it's an extraordinary fight, we will get a second one between them. But it also opens the door for Shakur for the fight with Ryan Garcia, for the fight with Conor Benn, for the fight with Devin Haney. This is the opening of the portals for a big events in America.
I totally agree with that, and that's not you sitting on the fence, by the way, because there is ways that both of these can win this.
Recent predictions from boxing experts have only strengthened the narrative that Teofimo Lopez poses a legitimate threat to what many assumed would be an easy night for Shakur Stevenson. He's being called the only fighter who can bring Stevenson to his breaking point. Both Gareth Davies and Spencer Oliver stress that Shakur cannot repeat the errors he made against William Zepeda, because that's exactly where Teofimo's physical advantages become deadly and where he can stop Stevenson's rise completely. Spencer Oliver adds that Teofimo needs to impose his will and dominate Stevenson physically, something he's accomplished in the majority of his biggest fights.
And he'll just edge him out, but it could be very controversial.
And what Shakur can't afford to do, which he did against William Zepeda, is sit on the ropes and show his defensive skills. He needs the footwork, centre of the ring, and not let Teo have that forward momentum. You let him get forward momentum, and he will bull you.
Here's the excitement on this, though. Teofimo Lopez will put him in that position, because he's got that physical
So it's
advantage.
all about the timing in the mid-range. It's going to be fascinating.
He has the physical attributes to put him on the ropes, and he knows that that's where his game's at. He's not going to be able to outbox Shakur. Yeah, he's a great boxer himself, and he's very athletic, and he's got great movement and all that, but he's explosive, he's more bullish, and he will have to bull Shakur. He'll have to bully him, and then where the fight is won and lost is whether he can keep him on the ropes and win the rounds and rack up the rounds.
While Teddy Atlas and other experts have noted that Teofimo Lopez's performance against Arnold Barbosa was disappointing, causing some to doubt his chances against Shakur Stevenson, Teofimo has completely rejected that criticism. He explained that Barbosa was afraid to even engage and throw punches, and he's promising a knockout in this upcoming fight. Teofimo's main objective is giving Stevenson a brutal education while reminding everyone that this marks Shakur's first time moving up in weight. He's guaranteeing that anyone who steps in the ring with him feels his power, and Shakur won't be any different.
Are you training for a knockout? Are you training to do something to not just beat Shakur, but to beat him in grand fashion? And when I say grand fashion, I mean going for the knockout.
Well, I think that the whole thing is the Bible of boxing really is that if you look for the knockout, you won't get it. You know, I think really it's just all about setting the good pace early in the beginning rounds and then going from there, setting that tone. I think that I don't see him going those 12 rounds. This is his first time moving up to 140. A lot of these guys can say a lot of things about me not knocking them out or whatnot, but they don't come and try to fight me after they feel this power. So it's for a reason. It carries. It does carry. I mean, I had a good showing with Arnold Barboza. He was number one, my mandatory, and he didn't. He was too hesitant trying to commit to punches.
From Teddy Atlas dropping bombshell predictions to Gareth Davies and Spencer Oliver adding their expert opinions, the message is unmistakable. Teofimo Lopez isn't just another opponent. He's a genuine threat to Shakur Stevenson, and his combination of power, aggression, and unpredictable fighting style could make this the hardest examination of Stevenson's entire career. Who's walking out with the victory when this is all over? Share your predictions below. Smash that like button if you're hyped for this showdown, and make sure you subscribe for every fight breakdown we drop.